All right, how to unify lines. Go ahead and put, I'm using jug line to make it easy to see, but on a white plate, obviously, to make it easy to see. Overlap your lines like that, side by side. Take one end and loop it back towards the other. And then what you're going to do is you're going to wrap it around both lines. And then come through the line and then through the loop. Alrighty. And then you're going to take the other side, and again, you're going to loop it back around and hold that end so you have all three pieces next to each other. Loop that around. Usually I do it a few times, but for demonstration purposes I'm only going to do a couple. And then go back under the line, in between the lines, and pull through the loop. Bam. And then when you pull them together, you've got a unified line. Now all I got to do is trim off the excess. That is pretty stout. Pulled in some good fish with like that. It's not coming loose. All right. Now for your hooks. The three types of hooks I use. Standard, I use circle hooks. I like these, I can't remember the name. They're the only red ones at the bait shop. And then just standard J hooks. Usually with J hooks I use 5 to 7/0, and circle hooks usually I'll use 6 or 7/0. The advantages are the J hook, I feel like I get more hooks set whenever they bite. Problem is I lose more fish that way. Whereas with the circle hook, they get on there, the harder they pull, harder you pull on that line, it circles back around and hooks them even better. I feel like once they get the bite, they're more apt to stay on the hook versus the J hook, but you don't get as many penetrations with the tip of the hook. So it just depends. Normally if I'm just fishing the lake or something, there's not real strong moving water, I've gone back to the J hook. But we're on jugs, or if there's moving water, then I like to use the circle hook. Just because if they're swimming by at a better rate, or they're going with the flow or whatever, once they get on, they're on. There's also kale hooks. I don't like them. I hate kale hooks. I've never had any luck with them, and I've lost so many fish. So, alright, my two primary forms of bait for catfish. That's a whole nother debate we won't get into. I have general rule of thumb. Anything that is or once was part of something living. Now that we've talked about hooks, I'm going to show you how I hook the shad. 90% of the time I will take and I'll go through the bottom of the jaw, and then I'll try to come up. If you look, right behind the eyes is always the widest part of the skull, and I'll try to come up right through there, right behind the eyes. And that's really sturdy. I mean, that's not coming off. It's real sturdy. The second way is right behind the eyes. There's that thick, hard part on both sides. I'll just stick it right through like that. Bam. Good to go. A third one, and I just discovered this a little while back. It's pretty simple, but I had never done it. Hook the hook through the eyes, and then pull the line through. Maybe I'm using jug line for demonstration, so. Once you've got it through, hook it towards the back of the fish. And then what you've got is this. The bait stays on really good doing it this way. I don't do it very often because, again, I'm a lazy fisherman and that's a lot more work. And I can't tell you if I've had better or worse luck because I haven't done it a lot. It's good if I know I need that shad to stay on a while, like if I'm not going to check my jugs for 10 hours. Or if I think there's a chance I won't. Alright, now hot dogs. Jugs, I use hot dogs during the day. I use shad at night because they'll stay on the hook longer. But I don't find any more success with shad than I do hot dogs for catfish bait. Alright, first thing you want to look for every time is you'll find a seam and it's a lot easier to see in person, but there's going to be a little seam there. The reason why that's important is because if you put a hook through that seam and come out, it'll split real easy and the hot dog will come right off. So generally, I will always put it through like so and just use it just like that. And the hot dogs work great. The only problem is you don't want to use them unless you're going to be checking your jugs pretty frequently. They don't stay on as long as live bait. Okay, so for your middle pieces of hot dog, you don't want to hook it through like this. The hot dog's already been torn and all that other good stuff, so doing this, it just makes it real weak. What you want to do for your middle pieces is go through this way. And that works pretty darn good. Okay, go ahead.